My name is David Maisonneuve, and I am living in Salinas, just like everyone else here. I've lived here 30 years, and I came for work. Originally, I was working for a corporation, and then I moved up here, worked for a corporation for another 5 years, and then went out on my own. So I've lived in both worlds. I've lived in the corporate life, and I've lived in the personal, self-employed area. I know how to set up a budget. I know how to live within a budget. And if you vote for me, I will help the city council stay on task and stay on budget. It's important. How many of you are taxpayers? Like all of us, right? And if you're a taxpayer, you want to know where your money's going. And then I think one of the challenges in Salinas is that the communications needs to be more open and more front and center. So if you vote for me, I'm going to help improve those situations. This is an amazingly tough question to answer. Because I personally believe that if somebody would come to me and ask, regardless of their color, I want to listen. I'm going to be a representative of the people. And because of that, I don't look at people's color. I look at people's intentions. I look at people's personalities are and what they're looking for. So it's hard for me to answer a question about race when I don't see her. For me personally, I don't see race. I treat people equally. We're all, like I asked before, we're all taxpayers. Okay, what does that do? Well, that levels the playing field. Okay, whether it's whether you're paying taxes on your property or you're paying sales tax, you're still a taxpayer. And because of that, I want to be able to talk to people and listen to people's challenges and their problems and meet them where they're at, regardless of their color. And I'm probably a little naive that way, but that's the way I am. I haven't experienced racism, because I'm white, obviously, but I also don't treat people with racism. I'm not going to have the most popular viewpoint here. Rent stabilization is currently the law of the land. City Council approved it. Therefore, if I were when I'm elected, I will follow the law. Having said that, rent stabilization is a Band-Aid. We have so many problems with supply and demand. And like was being said, how do we keep other people from outside the area buying our new homes and bringing up the rents and bringing up the cost of housing? Well, there's a way of doing that. It's called inclusionary housing. It's the way that the county or the city can put deed restrictions on homes that are currently in the process of being built. Now, a deed restriction limits what you can do to the property. So if somebody were to buy an inclusionary house, I'm just throwing numbers out there, but let's say a normal house costs $700,000, they can buy the house for $300,000 based on their income. Okay? So when that happens, they buy it at that price, but when they went to sell it within 30 years, prior to 30 years, they wouldn't be able to sell it for what the market bears. They'd only be able to sell it for what the county says they can sell it for. So when you purchase a home as inclusionary, it's a home. It's not an investment, it's your home. And that's great, and that's good. So that's one way of dealing with it. Again, it's supply and demand. Police is a tough thing. We need more police. I don't think there's anybody that doesn't agree with that. But at the same time, we outnumber the police a gazillion to one. We need to, I personally think we need to start revitalizing our neighborhood watch programs. We need to start getting to be knowing our neighbors, being neighborly and neighbors to each other, building community by connecting our neighborhoods, and eventually connecting the whole city. What would it look like if the city of Salinas was full of friends and neighbors? What would it look like? It would look like a city of peace. So I do recognize that we need police, and it's definitely something we need to consider. However, I do believe that the citizens of Salinas can do a much better job of being neighborly and watching out for each other. This is not a city issue. It's a county issue, a state issue, maybe even a neighborhood issue. But I'm not seeing it as a city issue. The parts that the city can control is the housing, okay, the rent control, which again I'm not in favor of, but it's there. That's how we help the families. That's how we help the kids. If the parents can be parents, right, because they're making a little more money or they're not putting out as much money, that's going to be the biggest indicator, that's going to be the biggest help for the students. A solid family, not a family that has to have dad working 3 jobs and mom working 2, and the kids are out doing whatever the kids do. That's not how we're going to improve this situation. So I really believe that the cost of living in this county and the city and the state is astronomical. And I'm not sure there's a whole lot we can do other than help people by training them, teaching them how to live on a budget, helping them to become all that they can be with what they have, and possibly even opening other doors. You know, health insurance is expensive. I've been self-employed for 22 years and had up until recently, since I just turned 65, I had to pay for my own health insurance. I was paying, gosh, $1,000 a month? Crazy. And so I understand this problem. Right? You're talking about health insurance for everybody. So this is a union hall. You guys, those of you who attend here, don't you get medical benefits? I mean, I'm just speaking because I don't know. I know that back in 1980, when I worked for the Retail Clerks Union, I had medical benefits through my union. It was kind of one of those things they said, well, it was really the employers that were paying it, but it was the union that oversaw it. So I'm a little confused as to why the city needs to step in when there are already avenues out there. Now, having said that, I don't want us to be flippant about things or ignoring things. For example, Chinatown, we have a homeless population that is living on drugs. It's a bad health thing. They're not clean. It's a bad health thing. We should be able to step up and help. As far as the revenue goes, mine's pretty weak. I've been a neighbor, I've been a citizen, I've been a taxpayer, I've worked for a union, I've worked for a corporation, and I've worked on my own. That helps me know what it's like to live in Salinas. I think that we need to be a healthy community, and that starts with a healthy city. And I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about the bureaucracy. It needs to be healthy. We need to be taking care of our streets and sidewalks. We need to be taking care of the safety issues of the police. And we need to be taking care of the homeless, who are also the unspoken people care of the city before we can take care of